afternoon. Today, we will present the timeline of the life of one of the greatest minds that humanity has had, the British theoretical physicist Stephen William Hawking. Hawking is probably the best known physicist to the general public since Einstein's time. We will make a brief summary of how his life was through the years. My group is made up of myself, Diego Andrés Salazar Fernández, and my classmates Jaimara Gómez Gómez and Aurelia de la Osa Perdomo. In 1942, he was born in Oxford, England on January 8, in the middle of the Second World War. He would be the oldest of four siblings. His father was a professor at University College, Oxford, and an expert in tropical diseases. In 1959, began his university studies at the University of Oxford. Later, he received his doctorate in theoretical physics and cosmology at Cambridge. In 1963, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS) is diagnosed. His physical state, not his intellectual, began to deteriorate rapidly, and doctors predict that he would not live long enough to finish his doctorate. 65, he begins his work on the general theory of relativity in collaboration with Roger Penrose. In 1966, he finished his doctorate and obtained a scholarship at Cambridge first as a researcher and then as a professor. In 1970, he applies his physics work to the study of black holes, considered that they can emit radiation. He investigated through the combination between the theory of general relativity and quantum theory. In 1971, he began his works on the creation of the universe. In 1973, he joins the Cambridge Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics. A year later, he exhibited his theory on black holes at the Rutherford Laboratory and joined the Royal Society.
1978 received the Albert Einstein Prize, considered the highest honor in theoretical physics. 1979 he is appointed Lucasiano Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, the same as Isaac Newton. 1982 he is made a Knight of the British Empire. 1985 relief of his illness through pneumonia at CERN. He loses his voice. Since then, he would communicate through a synthesizer. 1988 he publishes A History of Time, from the Big Bang to Black Holes, critical editorial. The book that would make him world famous and that would become a bestseller. It would break sales record and reach 40 editions. 1989 he received the Prince of Asturias Award for Concord. The jury would value his transcendental research work on the foundation of time and space, bringing the latest scientific contribution on the origin and destiny of the universe closer to the knowledge of men. He also highlighted the example of his response to the difficulties that adversity can pose to the human condition, thus contributing to the fight for progress and against ignorance. 2001 he makes a new foray in to popular science with the universe in nutshell. 2 years later, On the Shoulders of Giants, published in Spain by the same publisher, will be released. 2005, he publishes A Short History of Time, in which Joaquin, based on his bestseller of 1988, breaks the great mysteries of the world and of life closer to the general public. 2006, received the Copley Medal, the highest recognition of scientific work in any of its fields, awarded by the Royal Society of London.
In 2007, 28th of April, he gets a taste of free-floating weightlessness, an experience he called amazing. In 2009, he checks into a Cambridge medical center. The medical report underlines the seriousness of his condition. In 2010, he publishes together with Leonard Enlino The Great Design Criticisms, a controversial work in which he tries to respond to God's need to explain the existence of the universe. Then, in 2012, he argues that the Nobel Prize in Physics should be awarded to Pete Higgs, the scientist who gave his name to the mechanism and the Higgs boson, a particle perfectly compatible with the one presented by CERN and which could be the origin of the universe. Next, in 2014, he reveals his atheistic vision of the origin of the universe at the Starmus Festival in Tenerife. He also presents his ideas about the Big Bang and says he was convinced that God is not necessary to explain the birth of the universe. In the same year, 2014, it presents a new communication system devised by the multinational Intel. Intelligent machines can end the human race, he declared. After, in 2015, director James Marsh premieres The Theory of Everything, a film based on Towards Infinity, the memoirs of his ex-wife Jane Hawking, published earlier this year by Loom. In this year, in June, he tells the BBC that he would consider assisted suicide if his degenerative disease worsens. And in August, he points out the certainty that black holes could lead to another universe in what could be one of the keys to unraveling the enigma of this phenomena of the universe. Then, in 2016, he embarks on the Breakthrough Starship project. A tiny spaceship sets out to travel to the Alpha Centauri star system alongside Russian millionaire Yuri Minurel and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. In this year, in June, he participates again in the Tenerife Starmus Festival, where he insists that human beings must seek their future outside of our fragile planet. And suddenly, in 2018, in March, he died at dawn on Wednesday the 4th at his home in Cambridge at the age of 76.